There is a difference between an artist going through a dark period and an artist actively dismantling everything they have ever built with their own two hands while the entire world watches and nobody can find the off switch. One of those things produces great art. The other produces something that is harder to name, harder to watch, and impossible to look away from. Right now, with the Búlly era in full swing, Kanye West is giving the culture both simultaneously, and the line between creative genius and genuine self-destruction has never looked thinner. You are locked in with the hip-hop watchdog, the channel that never flinches when the story gets uncomfortable. Subscribe right now and hit that notification bell, because this is the kind of conversation that hip-hop needs to have out loud, and we are not going to whisper it. Let us start with what the Búlly era actually represents, because context matters here. Every Kanye album era has come with a personality attached to it. The College Dropout era was hungry and hopeful. Graduation was triumphant. 808s and Heartbreak was raw and bleeding. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was grandiose and self-aware. The Life of Pablo was chaotic but electric. Even the Yeezus era, which alienated casual fans and confused critics, felt like a deliberate artistic provocation with a clear creative intention behind it. You could argue with the execution, but you understood the mission. The Búlly era feels different, and not different in a way that is easy to get excited about. The album name alone is a declaration of intent that raises more questions than it answers. Búlly. Not a word that hip-hop artists typically embrace as a self-descriptor with pride. It is confrontational, yes. It is attention-grabbing, absolutely. But it also signals something about the headspace behind it that the most devoted Ye fans are finding difficult to fully celebrate. When your album title is Búlly and your promotional strategy consists of publicly attacking nearly every significant artist in your orbit, the art and the behavior start bleeding into each other in ways that are genuinely unsettling. Look at the timeline and try to find a moment of stillness. In the build-up to this album, Ye removed Ty Dolla $ign from his circle over a values disagreement and suggested he could reverse his collaborator's personal growth like flipping a light switch. He exploded publicly at Playboi Carti over album credits and the involvement of his daughter. He dismissed Tyler, the Creator's entire discography in a single throwaway sentence. He leaked his own music in ways that bypassed conventional release strategy entirely, dropping material on social media with the frantic energy of someone who cannot wait and will not be controlled. Each individual incident, taken alone, could be filed under Kanye being Kanye, a provocateur doing what provocateurs do. But laid out sequentially, back to back, with barely a breath between them, it stops reading like artistic chaos and starts reading like something that deserves a more honest name. Here's the analogy that crystallizes it. Imagine a world-class architect who designed some of the most iconic buildings in history, structures that changed skylines, inspired generations, and redefined what was possible. Now imagine that same architect spending his days walking through the city loudly criticizing every building he passes, tearing up his own blueprints on the sidewalk, and filing lawsuits against the contractors he personally hired. At some point, the question stops being about architecture and starts being about the architect. The music industry has been here before with artists it loves. It watched DMX battle his demons in public, while simultaneously releasing some of the most powerful rap music of his generation. It watched Lauryn Hill withdraw from the world at the height of her influence and re-emerge years later as a different version of herself. It watched the slow unraveling of artists who burned too bright for too long and had no infrastructure of genuine support around them to catch the fall. What makes the Kanye conversation particularly painful is the scale of his gifts. This is not a marginal talent having a breakdown. This is one of the most consequential musical minds of the last 3 decades, operating in a mode that seems designed to push away every person capable of offering honest perspective. The yes men remain.
The real ones are Don, and that combination, unlimited platform, diminished accountability, and a creative project built entirely around aggression, is the kind of environment where the difference between a masterpiece and a disaster is razor thin. The Búlly album may yet surprise everyone. Kanye has earned enough credit with the culture to be given that possibility. There have been enough moments where the chaos preceded something genuinely extraordinary that writing him off entirely feels premature and frankly disrespectful to his track record. But the pattern surrounding this era is not something that honest hip-hop commentary can ignore in the name of fandom. The darkness is real, the isolation is documented, the behavior is escalating, and somewhere underneath all of it is an artist who once made music that felt like it was saving people's lives on their worst days, and who deserves far better than what this current chapter looks like from the outside. The watchdog is not here to condemn. The watchdog is here to tell the truth. And the truth about the Búlly era is that it is the most complicated, most concerning, and most compulsively watchable moment in Kanye West's career. We are all watching. We just wish the story felt a little less like a warning. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.